Are we late? Are we live? Are we broken? How are we doing? Are we live on YouTube? Are we live on Twitter? Because live stream, the live stream just quit on me. Are we late? Are we broken? Are we live on YouTube? Are we live on Twitter? Oh. Thank you for joining me again. I don't know what happened. My first live stream just broke all of a sudden. Hi, Chinmay, Azad. How's it going? Azad? Azad? Sorry if I butchered your name. How are you all doing? Thank you so much for joining me on day 20. This has been a web dev challenge? Build your app challenge. I struggle to come up with the name. But this has been a web challenge where we have been building a React app, adding AI application, adding AI to it one day at a time. And I am quite a bit late today. It is because I was eating dinner with a bunch of friends and it was, and before I realized it was 9:40 and I was like, oh my God, gotta run. So here I am. My tummy is full, my heart is full, and I'm so excited to be here. Oh, check this out. How are you all doing today? Thank you so much for joining me. Saying hello to everybody in the app, in the chat. Today is a really today we're going to actually refactor the app that we've been building. I have been so far adding features to the app without thinking about reusability of components, without thinking about migrating the components to migrating the components to TypeScript. So today, as any good engineer would do, since now the application has reached a point of what is that called? Like good feature development, since now it's kind of like an in a stable state. Let's add. So today's post is today's. Wow, I need a breather. Today's stream is gonna be one of reading, and this is what you would do typically in a web app when you have developed some applications, when you have developed some features, and it's almost time to ship. That's what we're gonna do today. It's almost time to ship. What is the future of blockchain in the future? Because I'm planning to learn what your opinion. Blockchain. I feel like blockchain had its moment 2 years ago, and now it's kind of. So I would say that if you're learning blockchain, in Web3, I think there is still quite a bit of hype, not as much as it was in 2020. The hype has kind of died down. But I think in context of Web3, there is still scope. But if I was learning a new tech or learning something new, I would pick AI. Alrighty. Let me make sure that the speed is looking good. Could anybody on the stream verify if the audio and video is looking good? That. Alrighty, today, since we are already so late, let me actually share my screen and get going already. So, okay, before I do that, I wanna introduce this stream a little bit because people are new to the stream and join the stream every single day. So, I want to say thank you so much, everybody, for coming to this stream, especially if this is your first time. Thank you so much for joining me. Thank you for clicking on this stream. This is a live stream where we build a web app, add a small functionality to this app in the 2 hours that we're going to spend together. And this is the only time that I'm working on this app. So this is kind of like a very real stream where staff engineer at Slack does. Well, I'm not working on Slack software right now, but what does a typical web development process looks like? Most of the things that I build in this stream is something that I have never done before. So this is the first time that I'm building that stuff. Query, and I added infinite scrolling through it, and I have never done that with handstack query before. So what you see here is super raw. There is no prep involved. This is as real as it can be. So if I stumble, that is just me being super honest and super real. But if I'm doing a really great job at it, it's probably because I've done this before. So this is real. But thank you. In case you have never been on the stream before, I want to quickly introduce myself as well. I am Shruti Kapoor, your favorite developer, entertainer, content creator. And if you've seen any of my videos, you know that I am adding a little bit of fun, bringing it back to coding and helping you enjoy your code process and your development process through one video, or from one video at a time. Through one video at a time? I don't know. English is hard today. But yes, that is what we're going to do today. Today, we are going to refactor our learning AI app that we've been building. Here is the GitHub for this. Let me share that and get going. So if you want to follow along, you can use this GitHub in the chat. Pin message. So let's get going. And every stream we do some polls. So today's poll is gonna be coming up on YouTube right now. Let me add a poll now. And here's today's poll. Are you looking for a job currently? Yes or no? Somebody says yes. Hi, Hunter. Nice to see you here. Okay, 100% of the votes are on yes right now, which is actually really exciting to see that a lot of people are looking for a job. Tables turned over again. I know. All right, while you answer that, I'm also going to get my app running. Okay, all 3 people who voted have been looking for a job, which is amazing. First time viewer, what does Shruti even do? I know, what does she even do? Blah, 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 chat all day long. Software guy, do you do app development in React Native? I do app development in React, not React Native. Not yet, anyway. Okay, one person is not looking for a job. Nice to know that. Thank you for letting me know. I actually started a GitHub repository of people who were looking for a job, and I was actually getting approached by a lot of recruiters at the time, and I wasn't looking for a job at the time, but I wanted to make sure that these recruiters can reach out to other people. Now I have turned that repository private because I don't want to leak out people's data. But if you are interested in a repo like that, where I can share your information with recruiters who are reaching out to me. Mind you, these recruiters are in the US and they are looking for people in the US. So if you're interested in sharing your info with me so I can share it with the recruiters, let me know in the chat here, and I will spin up another version of that video, of that repo, 2025 version. The last version that I had spin up was, and whenever a recruiter would reach out to me, I would actually share them the repo. And a lot of people told me that they had gotten a lot of leads from that repo. Okay, let's get this app going. npm run dev. Let's transition over to the code scene. Alrighty. npm run dev. Localhost 5173. That's going. And I'm gonna get my other stuff running as well. npx commits. Dev. And what else? Okay, so 83% of people are looking for a job. Alrighty, you know what? I have this repo that I used to share with people. Actually, let's do another poll where I'm gonna ask you where you are in the world. Actually, let's do this. So if you said yes, where in the world are you? And that'll help me understand if my connections would be helpful for you. Um, 5173 is actually supposed to spell wheat. V is the Roman letter for 5. USA. Oh, awesome. Okay. Sophie Cool's editing. Oh, hey, Sophie Cool. So good to see you here. Looking for front-end roles. Oh, awesome. Okay, Prateek. Send me a message on the Discord. Discord is actually linked right here. Discord is right here on bit.ly/Shruti Discord. Send me a message on Discord, and then I will make sure that if a recruiter reaches out to me, I will send them your email. Oh, S equals V, 1 equals R, 7 equals T, 3 equals C. Is that true? That's fascinating. Alrighty, so let's get this going again. npm run dev, generating routes, 5173. The repo that I was talking about was talent for hire. And this is actually a private repo. So here's the information that I was collecting for people. I was collecting like where people are, what location they are in, what skills they are looking for, and their contact number if they are interested. I think this is a private repo now, but I'm going to start a new one if there is enough interest. You're already on my Discord channel. Okay, awesome. Then just send me a DM. please share a Discord link. My Discord link is in the stream over here. No, here. Wait, where is the sign? This way. Right here. I casually leak info. No, I'm not leaking any info. This is everything that people had shared themselves. The Discord is bit.ly/Shruti-Discord. I'm not leaking any info. Okay, let's get going, folks. Today's stream is going to be a fun one because today we're going to actually refactor this app. So just to remind you what we do in this app, oh, look, it says nothing more to load. This is what we implemented yesterday. We implemented infinite scrolling. So what you can do is if you're looking for a property in Seattle, you can fill in a description saying, I'm looking for a 3-bedroom house in Seattle in the starting range of 1 million to 21 million. And then once you hit search, I'm actually going to reduce the price range today just for funsies, 800 to 2 million. Is that 2 million? Yeah, that's 2 million. And then I'm going to say search. And then once you search for a property, it actually shows you properties that match the description that you said. So for example, this property, you can also hit like and we'll show you more recommendations like that. So yesterday what we implemented was this infinite scrolling. So if you go down at the bottom, there is this button that says load more. Although it is a button right now, but it's actually working as infinite scrolling. So you'll see more property images like this and so on. And then if you click on load more, we'll show you more recommendations. Of course, the UI needs to look a little bit better, but right now the application's functionality is working. So we're gonna today take a pause on the functionality and actually go back in and refactor our app. And this is the code that we have so far. So as you can see right now, app actually has a lot of stuff in it. There is a bunch of refs, bunch of use states, query functions, which are actually coming from TanStack query. Get properties from natural language. So within the component itself, we are fetching our URL, which is the property. So there's a lot that can be done here. So why don't we spend some time cleaning up this repo today? I'm going to start with the app.jsx file, and actually I'm going to ask ask if the assistants can do me some help. Help me clean this. And then I'm going to also ask another assistant, which is augment. Not copilot. I'm going to ask augment. And I'm just doing a comparison of how good these both LLMs are. Okay, let's see what it recommends. And then, okay, this is what I'm going to do as well. I'm going to share this. I think the GitHub link is in the file itself. And I'm going to share in the document in the chat. And I would like you to give me recommendation on what you think can be a good refactoring practice here. Help me refactor this. What would you change? So go through this and tell me what would you like to change in this app. And also, if you're watching this stream offline, if you want to give me your recommendations, you can either create an issue within GitHub or you can put it in the comments below. So let's do this exercise where we figure out some things that we can improve in this. So go ahead, click on that link, see if you can tell me some things that I could improve in this component itself. We're going to take it one component at a time. That music is making me really sad. Okay, it's actually talking about the property details component, like do this, this, and this. But before going to property details, I want to work on the app.jsx component. So I'm going to ask it, help me clean app.jsx. Okay. And then, okay, I'm not seeing any input from the chat yet, but that's fine because this is a long file. So take your time, let me know. Let's see what Claude says. Alrighty, so component organization, extracted the property recommendation into separate component. Items per page, it moved into a new constant, which is actually a good recommendation. Items per page, loader, error, property recommendations, it's created a new component for that. I think that is something we would have done as well. Search query ref and all data ref, it's creating, it actually moved this down together, the use refs together, so cleaned it up a little bit. Fetch properties, use infinite query, handle submit, handle field description, and then everything else is pretty much as is. Okay, and then it has like loading more. I just got the image of that. Sounds like the travel people are getting ready to sacrifice their gods. Okay. I also don't like the fact that there is so much happening in the app.jsx file itself. I like having app.jsx file as kind of like this entry point to the app, and then everything else I kind of like having like a layout file, or I like having like a home file or property home file, something like that, something that can take care of like rendering the components. But then app file, I like having it clean because I also like having my like providers, client providers within the app file itself. In this component, we've actually added them to, in this app, we've actually added them to our main JSX file. And the reason is because we're rendering the app component through the router. That is why. But let's clean this up so that we actually have a component here called what do I want to call it? Render properties. No. I want to call it to render something. Okay, I've got render properties, and then actually, you know what? We can have like render app or like the layout. So let's create this. I'm gonna control this out. I'm gonna cut this out. I'm gonna call this render layout, and then I'm gonna add this here, render layout. So return this here. I'm gonna start cleaning this component one by one. Okay, so render layout now will still do its job. Render layout does this, return this, main return, and then here you could return like render, change render layout to return render layout, and then here you could have like the main component. So here I'm gonna add main, and then main. Is it still running? Still running. Cool. Alrighty. Now the next step is render layout function. Let's go ahead and clean this up. Now what I want to see in this app is actually, you can imagine like an app component. The main component would have something. The main is actually the main, the main is kind of where the main content of the app is, but looking at this design, this is our main homepage. This is the header. We actually don't have this header yet. And then we have this section, which is the featured section. And then this is the main section of this app where we have multiple components. So looking at this design, where do you think main should start? Should it start here at this featured section, or should it start at this main content where you start showing images? Where do you think main should start? So question for you, where do you think main should start? At this Figma design. And then this is the Figma design that we're looking at. I'm going to share that as well. I'm also going to share the documentation of the main component of HTML in case you're not familiar. Okay, so given those documentation and given this design is the one that we're focusing on. Where do you think main should start? Should it start at this featured section, or should it start at this list of properties? Let's do a poll again to figure that out. Where I'm gonna do this poll in okay, 80% of people are looking for a job currently, which is great to hear, because my next video is going to be about interviewing questions, specifically React interviewing questions. So if that is something you're interested in, stay tuned on YouTube. I will be posting a video very soon, and I'm also working on creating a free book for you through which I'll show you 5 questions that are commonly asked in React and front-end interview questions and the answers for them. So stay tuned for that. And thank you to everybody who signed up, or who wrote this, who submitted this poll. The free book that I'm talking about is actually gonna be published on this link. I'm currently writing this book right now, so it's gonna be published at the end of in mid-March, and the link to that is in my newsletter as well, bit.ly/shruti-newsletter. It's completely free of charge, no cost to you, but I'm going to be sending out to my newsletter, so if you're in there, then you'll get it first thing. If you're not, go ahead and sign up through that link. But the next question I asked you was, where is the main component going to be? So I'm going to ask a question here. No, not a Q&A. Where should the main component be? Okay, so here's a poll. Head on over to YouTube to answer this poll. But the question is, what should the main component include? The main being HTML component. Should it be feature section onwards, which is this section up at the top here, or should it be this properties onwards? So go ahead and click that button. Let me know where you think the main component should be. And I will give you a few minutes to click that. And I'll give you a reasoning to what is the correct way to approach this. Okay, most people are saying featured section onwards. Some people are saying properties onwards. I think those are both like valid things you could say, because looking at what this component looks like, it's actually pretty confusing understanding where main should start. So I'm going to give you a few more minutes to answer this question as well, and I will tell you the answer in a bit. Meanwhile, I'm going to share this on Discord. Okay, more people are saying featured section onwards. Some people are saying properties onwards. I'm gonna wait for one more minute. Let's give it another minute. And then meanwhile, I'm gonna open the main HTML component. Okay. Okay. While you do that, I'm going to quickly finish writing this app, this blog post. This is actually a summary of the stuff that we did 2 days ago, which is moving from CRA, Create React App, to Vite. And if you remember that live stream, you would remember that there were some technical challenges we encountered, which is I was actually on an outdated React version, React 15, and Vite auto-installed me to React 19. So I had to downgrade to React 19 before continuing the migration. This was an easy process because I only needed to remove the node module and remove the React create root line of code. Module import errors. If you remember, we cannot use import statement outside a module, and we were having this because Vite uses ES module, while the old CRA setup relied on CommonJS. So the solution was to add type module in package JSON, and that helped as well. Especially, and one more thing we had to add was script. So source should include type equals module. Script source. Missing styles, Node SAS was no longer supported. The solution was to replace Node SAS with SAS. Issues with Babel, CRS Webpack-based configuration included Babel transforms, and Vite doesn't need that, so you just remove that from your package JSON. From package JSON. Broken image and assets path, just remove those. Publish. Hi Shavik, how's it going? Nice to see you here. Okay, if anybody's interested in how we move from Create React App to Vite, this is the blog post. But let's get back into our question, which is what should the main component include? Okay, some people said feature section onwards, some people said properties onwards. Hey Shailendra, so nice to see you. Wait, are you the same person from my college? No, you're not. There was actually a Shailendra in my college back in India. I thought you were him, but you're not. But that's fine. Okay, so to solve this doubt or this question, let me show you this design again. Okay, so if we go back to my Figma app, you'll see that there's a search component here. And you need to be focused in the search component so you can click on it and you can start typing in it, right? So this is actually a main functionality of the app. This is a core functionality on the app. Now, sometimes if you look at the main component here, if the documentation here, you'll notice that it says content that is repeated across a set of documents such as sidebars, navigation links, copyright information, site logos, and search forms shouldn't be included unless the search form is the main function of the app. For us, search form is the main function of the app. It is not like other sites where, oh, not this one. It is not like some search sites where the search functionality just lives at the top and it's not the main part. For us, this is actually one of the main functionality. That is why the main tag should start right here. And for everybody who said, the 86% of population actually who said that featured section should start, or the main section should start at the featured section, they were correct. So thank you for answering. You are correct. Pat yourself on the back. So let's go ahead and do that. Now we have this main component. And in the main component, we actually want to have a featured section. And then this featured section, I'm just going to draw out like what I want this to look like. Featured section. Featured section. Okay. Featured section. I'm just going to write out what I want my components to look like. Okay. Then the featured component should have a search, like a search input. Search. Just like a search bar, right? That is the search bar that we are seeing right here. So that is my featured section. It has a headline, it has a search bar. And then just before this, it would also have like, do I want to call this header or do I want to call it something else? Header is fine for now. Okay, so I have a featured section. Featured section has header, search bar. Then I have a properties list. This is based on your search properties. Why can't we just use div instead of main? Okay, this is a great question. And I'm going to answer this question now. Why can't we use div instead of main? So remember, what is main? Main is a semantic HTML, right? What does it describe? It represents the dominant content of the body of a document. The main content area consists of content that is directly related to or expands upon the central topic of a document. The reason we don't want to use div instead of just main is because main element behaves like a main landmark and it can be used by assistive technology to quickly identify and navigate to large sections of the document. So if you had a bunch of like divs all across the page, when you were browsing this page through a screen reader, it would have no idea which part of the page to focus on. And screen reader users, they rely on assistive technologies a lot to quickly navigate through the site in order to find out where is the navigation, where is the main content of the page, where is the footer, and things like that. So when you use semantic HTML, you are actually helping people who are using assistive technologies as opposed to just using div, because div does not convey any meaning at all. So always when you can, use semantic HTML. Also, here's another important feature, which is skip navigation. A lot of assistive technologies will give you the ability to skip navigation, like the header bar at the top, and then you can simply skip to the main part of the content, which is the main content that we're going to be looking at. And so by specifying a main component, a user is able to quickly jump to the specific section that they're interested in. So I hope that helps. Hi, Harshit. No problem. You are fine. You're not late. Okay, so let's keep going. So that's the featured section, right? And then in the properties list, actually, I have properties list. In this, I actually have properties that are search. Search items. How would you call this? Search. How would you call this based on your search criteria? Search list, search properties list. I see, I read code easily. I think it definitely helps for code readability as well, but the bigger reason is actually for accessibility. Based on properties you liked and based on your search criteria. I think I'm going to call it search properties? No, search list. Naming is so hard. If you have a better name, let me know, okay? Okay, here's something else we can do. We can have a section here that can have an ID of search list listings. And then here we can have property listings with properties equals search properties. And why I've added that is because we can have another section at the bottom that would have an ID of recommended listings. And we could still reuse the same component, property listings, but the properties would be recommended properties. Section to show all cards, and each card is an article tag. Section to show all cards, and each card is an article tag. Are you saying that maybe in property listings? So property listings itself would be something like property details. Actually, we have a component called property card. And then the property itself would be passed down and so on. And then when you click on the property card, which is in the property details here, I think we have property details, which is kind of the new page. I watched a video with the We Make Dev Kunal, and I have a question regarding deployment. With Next.js, we need to pay bills to Vercel. In React, there are SEO problems and image optimization issues. Any suggestion for a real estate website? What is the question there? Can you rephrase your question? Is the question where to deploy Vercel, like where to deploy React? In that case, you can deploy it on Netlify, which is what I do. There's something I want to verify, which is what does my code actually look like? Because there's a main JSX file, and I have not added a main component anywhere in my index, at least not that I remember. But I want to see what is the actual index, what is the actual HTML looking like. So I've got body div, this main JSX, and then I don't see any headings here, like any main tag. So this is the root, and I'm gonna cut this out. Because typically what people would do is the main component, like this main in Semantic HTML, it would actually go in the main file. So let's go ahead and add these components, add missing components to this file. And I have to make sure that my HTML is looking fine. Hey Prince Rawat, how's it going? Okay, is it adding my components for me? Create this featured section. Yes, please. It's adding prop types, which is weird because we don't use prop types anymore. Okay, create this. Then it says header component. Let's create this header component. Then property listings component. I think I may have a properties list, but I don't have a property listing. So I'm just going to rename this to property listings. Rename. Wait, where is rename? Am I blind? Reveal and find the... Okay, I'm going to do this in a second. Then now let's update your app.jsx with the current implementation. So I'm going to apply this. I want this to add existing query logic, featured section, header bar, search bar. Okay. Okay, apply this. So let's also look at what code it's creating. So properties, it's creating this. We don't actually want this. So I'm just going to reject this line. Use infinite query, use query, accept this because it's actually cleaning this up. Featured section, it's adding some new components that I just added. And then it's adding this component right here. So let's go ahead and add this. It's also adding some sections and I need that. It's got property listings in here. I need that. And then the rest of my condition list. So let's add that as well. Accept. And if you're using AI tools, this is something that I always recommend, which is that you should know every single line of code that it is right. And so this is what we're doing here. We're actually verifying what Augment gives us back to us. So we're not just blindly accepting the code that it's writing for us. Ma'am, where we use event emitters usually. Are you using that for your interview question, Surendra? You would be interested to know that signals actually are event emitters. If you've ever heard of signals, especially Solid.js has signals. JavaScript now also has a TC39 proposal to add signals. They are actually event emitters. So pub sub stuff is also event emitters. So there is a lot of use for this, but also just like document dot add event listener, also event emitters. Anytime you like add a click event, you can subscribe. That is also an event emitter. Hey buddy, hi Shaurya. Okay, now that we have cleaned up our app JSX, let's actually see if it looks any better. I still see a lot of code and I do not like this. I want to make this even better. Okay, render layout function is not doing anything. And I'm gonna cut this out, take out. So featured section, we haven't added a featured section yet. Search bar is how we search. Let's actually give it a quick reload and see what does it looks like. What does it look like? Okay, search bar. It says search bar is not created, but I thought I just created this. Okay, it didn't actually. So let's go ahead and create this. Header, properties list, components. I'm gonna ask augment. Create a new component. New component search bar. Okay. Create this, remove this, prop types we don't need. I'm gonna move my search functionality over from app.jsx where it was added in. Where is my search functionality? What else? Components, property listings. So property listings, I'm going to rename to property list. Property list. Explorer view. Rename this. Thanks. Cool. And then rename this as well. Property listings. Alrighty. Now what else? Properties list from where is this? Oh, properties list. Remove this. Okay, how are we doing? React query tools, save this, reload this, property listings from source app JSX. I thought I just created this. Oh, properties listings. From properties listings. AI should be able to tell me that. Why do I have to do this? Okay, come on. Tell me else. What else? Property listings is not defined. Okay, just do this for me. Property listings, where are you? I don't know why it added this React query dev tools. I'm gonna get rid of this. Rename component to properties list. There it is. Thank you very much. Apply. Cool. Awesome. What else? Do you have any other recommendations? Some of my apps so that I am not slowing down. Okay, what else do we have? Property listings is not defined. Save this to properties list. It's called properties listings. Cool. What else? Save this. Or does it feel super slow? Okay. Okay, not defined. That is still a problem. Where is that coming from? I got properties listings here. What is it? Properties list. It's not defined. Okay. Properties list is right here. I'm gonna add properties. Listings. Okay. What else? Properties list. Rename. All right. That's it. Okay, reload. Properties list is not defined. How many times are you gonna give me this error? Sweet. What is this? Try an example search. Hey, that's a cool button. Try an example search. I also like that it added this. I didn't even add this. It added this banner for me. I didn't even add this. In Seattle. Nice. I like it. Free work. Try an example search. I like this button. Try an example search. Okay, the card actually looks much better, right? So it's still a bit farther from what our app looks like. That's because this has to page. Actually, I like this. I can close this down. Discover your dream home today. There's a header at the top. I haven't included that header, but you know, it's fine. We'll do that later. Properties listings are showing up. It's showing multiple properties, so let's go ahead and fix that. And then recommendation properties is actually a blank list. We don't want to show a recommendation list if there is nothing in here, right? So let's clean that. So it says has next page, then fetch more, but then it should have something for recommended properties as well. So here we're gonna add this recommended properties dot length, and then add this. Okay, save this. I should not see. Okay, I don't see that gray thing anymore, but if I click load more, I would say more properties. And then if I go back, nice. Okay, fixing the design because the design actually looks pretty shit. And before we start moving components around or move any more components around, let's fix the design. So here is a question for you. Why is my computer being slow? That's not the question for you. Here's a question for you. Which CSS property? Again, come down to YouTube if you are watching this somewhere else. But here's a question. Which CSS property would you use? Multiple property in the same block. This is a very simple question. Hopefully you know the answer. I'm sure most of you know the answer. But here's a question for you. Which CSS property would you use to add multiple properties in the same block? If you're watching this on anywhere, if you're watching this on Twitter, on Twitch, come on over to YouTube so you can answer this in YouTube, which is where this question is posted. So which CSS property would you use to add multiple properties in the same block? So basically what we want to do is we are having a single property on one kind of block, one kind of column, but we want to have 4 properties. What code can you think of that would be helpful, that I can use to be helpful here? Okay, grid autofill, grid, great. Grid is definitely an option. I was actually thinking of div flex, because you could have more than 4 properties. Actually, by the layout that we're going to keep for this, which is actually a fixed layout beyond a certain width, there would not be more than 4 properties, but grid would also work. Flex would also work. What else can you think of? Flex with flex wrap, yeah. That would work. So let's go ahead and try this, okay? I'm gonna see if I can. Okay, so we have flex column. So we already have flex set up, and actually we're using Tailwind, so it's going to be easier to do this. We've got flex column, and then search listings is where we need to add this section. Search listings, this is the div, this is each of these, display flex, flex, wrap, wrap. Okay. The only thing is that it is kind of wrapping it unequally, and that is because we haven't given a fixed width to each of our cards, which is fine. We can easily do that. So let's go ahead and add this display flex to our property listings, our property listings. Now, if you look here in the design, we actually have like 4 items in the same line for search listings, but also 4 items for the same lines for property listings for the search recommendations as well, which means we can use flex on the property listings itself. So let's go ahead and do that. So we've got property listings here. We've got this property details here. This is how we add a detail of this to the same card, and this is where we can add this. Class name equals flex, flex wrap, and it's also running a gap 4, and we can keep that. So now if I look that up, and I've got some properties nicely. Because we are actually fetching them from this API, which has different width and height for these images, they're all kind of different height. So we can go ahead and fix that. They're all kind of different width. So what is the width that we're getting? Grid gap 4, grid columns, repeat autofit, min max 380 pixels, 1 fraction. Yeah. As well to use grid as well. I'm watching in mobile, a little hard for me to read the code. Oh, okay. Code a little bit then. Okay, now that I have flex wrap and I have a gap 4, which is actually a pretty decent gap, where do you think I should add, add this height or this width? How can I fix the width of these images so that it is similar to here, but it's not so unequal like what we have here? How can I fix that? So again, this is what we see. I'm going to move this to the right side. And this is the code. This is what we see. Now I'm seeing 2 images. Even if I see like 3 or 4 images, I don't care about that. But what I want to see is that they all should have the same height and same width. How can I do that? Aspect ratio. Object fit. That's actually a great one. By Naphtali Dunya. Object fit is a great option. Okay, so let's actually explore object fit. Okay. Property sets how the content of a replace element such as image or video should be resized to fit its container. You can alter the alignment of the object fit contain. Fill actually like kind of like stretches it. Contain would just make sure that the height and width of the image are set to its height an image, and it doesn't care so much about the container, so it'll actually contain the image within the container. Cover will try to nicely fit it in within the aspects of our box. Object fit none does nothing, and then scale down. I don't know what scale down does. Scale down content to size as if none are contained or specified, which I would result in a smaller concrete object. So for us, what we need is actually the cover. The replace content to size to maintain its aspect ratio while filling the element's entire content box. If the object's aspect ratio does not match the aspect ratio of its box, then the object will be clipped to fit. So it actually does everything that we needed to do automatically. Object fit cover. That's what we're going to do. And I'm going to show you an example of how we do this as well. So for example, in an image, you have this image, you specify the width and height, and then what you do is you set the object fit to be cover, and you set that on, where is this, object class equals cover, and then it'll actually fill up the whole space. So for us, if we specify this box, this image itself, going for example, it's already have object fit. So if we specify it to have like a height of 200 pixels and then a width of 200, maybe reduce it down. Why doesn't it have a border on the right side though? Oh, that's interesting. It only has a border on the left side. I didn't even notice it for other images. Okay. Why didn't you use grid? You could totally use grid as well. Grid will work too. And then aspect ratio is a good option. So let's actually read about aspect ratio as well. Aspect ratio, CSS. Okay, the desired width to height ratio of an element's box. This means that even if the parent container viewport size changes, the browser will adjust the element's dimensions to maintain the specified width to height ratio. So if you have automatic, it actually does not resize, but if you have one-on-one, then your width and height are maintained, and then on 16:9 it's kind of stretched and 0.5 is reduced. In this example, the width of the div elements has been set to 100 pixels and height to auto. Since the width value is fixed here, the aspect ratio property affects only the height of the div elements to maintain the specified width to height ratio, right? So in this case, wait, what's happening? It's not running yet. Is it just broken for me? It's working here, fine. Okay. Okay, I think this is good. So here we have the height fixed. We have the width fixed of each element has been set to 100 pixels, and then accordingly it actually resizes the height. So 0.5 would decrease the height, and then 1 would keep the height and width same. What is 1:1? Aspect ratio 1:1. How is that different from 1? So this is 1:1, this is 1. Oh, it's actually the same. So, okay, so we have two options here. One is the object fit and then the other is the aspect ratio. Which one of these do you think would be a better option here? Aspect ratio, you specify one thing and then it automatically adjusts the other thing. But with object fit, you specify the width and the height and then it tries to crop the image in. Like it'll either fill it in, expand it, or it'll crop it in with contain, with cover, which is what we already have. So out of aspect ratio and object would be a better option. And just to try this out, actually, we can do it on recommendation list. Oh no, I don't have properties for recommendation list. So let's try this out. Let's try them both. I'm gonna go into property listings and then render properties, property details, I believe. Image source. Property card, image, height. Okay, so we've got object cover here and then the height is 56, max height is 2x. Let's get rid of this. Height is 56 and then is also 72. And now I've got object cover. So this is the same as providing it a fixed height and okay. So as you see here, they've all are kind of fixed in their height and width, and it has nicely wrapped it up into, it has nicely contained the image. Don't have, this is not looking nice, is it? This is the only one that's an anomaly. Everything else kind of looks uniform. They're all looking fine now. Was it just a glitch? Okay, they all have the same height and width, which is looking nice. So that is with object fit. Now let's try this with object cover. But let's try aspect ratio. So for aspect ratio, I believe we have aspect. What options do I have? I have video, aspect, what else do I have? I think square is 1:1. Let's get rid of object cover. And then we have to provide a width of 56, height of, let's give it a 56 height as well. Okay. This is aspect ratio of height 56, width 56. This kind of looks bad. So let's for okay, looking much better. So we achieved the same effects. Do you think this kind of looks stretched? Is it just me or does it look stretched? I feel like it looks a bit stretched. Let's see what other tailwind options we have. Aspect. Video is 16:9. Square is 1:1. Aspect auto is the normal one. And then 3:2. Okay, I think 3:2 looks nice. So let's go back and make, is it 3-2? 3/2. And let's see what that looks like. I feel like it didn't change anything. Okay, object cover, so I'm going to use that as well. They have not used an image size, which is interesting. Oh shit, that is huge. Huge. I'm going to give it a width of, I think 72 is good. And then the height, I also want to set to 56. I don't know. That's kind of huge though. Okay, that looks better. Alrighty. So, some they don't have the same hit. Oh, okay. This is the problem. This is what I was seeing before, and I was like, why is one of them different? It's because the is a lot longer than this one, right? So that's why this container has taken a lot more space. And of course we can fix it by fixing the width of the container. That'll take care of this weird width difference here. So that'll be easy to fix. Other than that, I think they all look pretty similar, which is good. So of course we can do this with grid as well, but we can do this with flex as well. So whichever you to understand. But this is looking closer to the design. And one thing that we need to add is that they all have like a rounded corner. What I'm seeing here is that only the left corner is present. I'm sure this must be like a rounded small. This is so weird that only the left side has a border. I wonder if they're overflowing. Right? Okay. What is your plan after building this website? Are you going to sell it or what? I haven't decided. I could sell it. As of now, my plan is to actually build it to a production stage, slowly getting there 2 hours at a time, which is how much time I spend live streaming. Wow, it's 11:46 p.m. Oh my god. So I want to get it to a stage where it is production ready, so that this would be a really nice example project for anybody to follow if they're looking to junior React developer to a senior or staff developer. So this is the project that I'm building for that. It's more an educational project, but I have not thought about selling this project, but I'm open to it. Using LangChain for in the project. I'm using LangChain to LangChain just to interface with OpenAI. LangChain is my kind of framework of choice here for integrating with OpenAI. I'm using OpenAI to parse a natural language from the UI. So like right here, if I click on try an example search, you see how it sends like English language. And then if I click the search button, it sends to the backend. And then the backend is doing the job of actually capturing that to OpenAI, parsing it into JSON, and then sending it over to my real estate API, which is what is my real estate API? Zillow. Then the next step I do is when you click on this like button, I'm also generating recommendations for you. So if you go at the bottom, where's my recommendations? Oh, some error in here. I think something that recommended property is not a function. Okay, some error here, but basically when you click on the like button, I also show you recommended properties. So I'm using LangChain to create embeddings from OpenAI as well, and then doing a vector search using convex functions. At this point, I'm going to commit this code. And open my list for tomorrow. So if I go to my to-do list, code refactor done, improve loader component. What is there to improve in loader component? Loader is in app.jsx, I bet. Instead of height 32 and width 32, I'm going to give it a width of 12. So make it tiny. On search, try example search and click on search. I'm going to change this to 2. Okay, it's a small component, which is good. I'm also going to add a little bit of padding to this. Rounded, I think even 12 is huge. So I'll give it an 8, width of 8. Justify center, item center, and then a margin of, let's give it a 10. Okay. So now if I change this to 20,000, look, okay, that is looking nice. So that is good enough. Done. So go back to to-do and improve loader component as well. So what are we going to do tomorrow? Tomorrow it says we're going to do server-side rendering and adding React compiler. Before I go into server-side rendering, something that I want to add is recommended doing that. So I'm going to copy this over and write that I want to do this tomorrow, which is fetching property from the database based on its recommendation ID. And then I'll do server-side rendering, which is 21st. Tomorrow, by the way, you guys, I'm streaming at 5 p.m. tomorrow, 5 p.m. PST. Actually, let's do a poll. Why not? What time works for you? What time works for you? And I'll give you 3 options for streaming in weekdays. So if you don't know, I have been streaming every single day of this month and January as well. In January, I streamed at 5:30 p.m. In February, I've been streaming at 9:30 p.m. PST, an option that I want to try next. So again, come on down to YouTube so you can answer this. Here are 3 options. Okay, here are 3 options. Pick an option that works best for you, that you would like me to stream on. Meanwhile, I'm going to commit this code. Git add, git commit, adding loader, styling loader. Loader component. Git push. Alrighty. Okay, so what time works for you during weekdays? 9:30 p.m., which is this time. 5:30 p.m. PST, which is what I used to do in season 1. Or 10:30 a.m. PST, which is in the morning for me. I think what I'm thinking is tomorrow I want to stream in the morning. Okay, somebody said 5:30 p.m. PST. I also want to remind everybody of the 3,000 sub challenge that we're doing. We're doing a challenge where we are trying to reach 3,000 subs by the end of February, which is February 28th. And it's coming up in 8 days only. Goal. We are almost at 2,800 subscribers, just a little over 2,800 subscribers. And I'm sure that we can get to 3,000 subscribers. But I cannot achieve this goal without your help. So if you are new here, go and hit that subscribe button on YouTube. If you have been here for a while, share on your YouTube channel, share this on your social streams, and get your friends to sign up. If we get to 3,000 subscribers by February 28th, I'm going to review somebody's resume. I am opening this mentorship opportunity for you to get your resume reviewed, questions answered. We're going to make chai together and we're going to chat together. So it's going to be a chai and chat session. So I need your help to get me there. 3,000 subs by February 28th. We're so close, so close. I'm pretty sure we'll get there, but I need your help in getting there. Okay, for live streaming, which is nice because that works for me as well. I'm going to close this poll in 2 minutes. So if anybody else has any other opinions, go ahead and click that button in YouTube. Or if you're on Twitter, just tell me which option you want. 9:30 p.m. PST, 5:30 p.m. PST, or 10:30 a.m. PST. Oh, looks like 5:30 p.m. PST is a more favorite option for folks. It's interesting that nobody picked 9:30 p.m. PST like this time. It's which I thought would be opposite. I thought this time would work better for most people. Okay, folks, that is all for me. Thank you so much for joining me today on February 20, the day 20 of season 2 of. In today's session, to recap, we refactored our learning AI app that we've been working on for the last 40 days. We moved some components around, added a little bit of styling, and what object fit is. We also talked about 2 options of styling your components. You could use div flex or you could use div grid. Either of those work depending on which you're more comfortable with. I personally preferred Flexbox over Grid. I just can't. But Flexbox, I'm finally able to get it working. That's why I use Flexbox. But if Grid is something that you like, feel free to use that because it works similar. But folks, thank you. Session is gonna be in the morning, depending on what you say in the poll. If 5:30 p.m. is what works most for you guys, tomorrow I'll come and see you at 5:30 p.m. But folks, thank you so much for joining me. Don't forget already, I will see you very soon tomorrow with part 2. No, not part 2, with the continued part of this stream where tomorrow we are going to whatever your styles to is, and we're going to fetch our properties from the recommendation engine that we built. I'm going to go over how to build a recommendation engine with OpenAI using LangChain, using that OpenAI LLM, how to create a vector search, how to fetch a vector search, how to use the convex database. Tomorrow's session is going to be a lot of getting into the database and the AI part of this app, so you do not want to miss tomorrow. I will see you all tomorrow. Bye, folks.